Just a special thanks to Paula for bringing me to this event to share with you. I shared earlier, again, my name is Scott Thompson. I said earlier that my speech crumbled about 9:15 this morning, and comparing and contrasting and mostly delighting in all that I've heard, still trying to figure out where the work that we're doing fits into the array of what's happening here. My organization is called Intersections International, and it is the oldest, belongs to the oldest corporation in North America, actually predating both the British and the American governments, part of the Dutch Reformed Church. 10 years ago, they set money aside into an endowment and created the program called Intersections, and one of the programs is called the Veteran-Civilian Dialogue. My father was snatched from me for the Vietnam War. I don't know the impact that war had on my father, except that we've not had a good relationship. Never talked about his war experience. I understand this is common. I'm a Army brat, as the word goes, and unconsciously I joined the military, followed in my father's footsteps, and became an officer, and was a chaplain in the United States Army in the early 80s. Out of principle, and 25 years later, some fear, filed for discharge as a conscientious objector from the United States Army. A lot of top outgoing brass have spoken eloquently about their greatest concern, which is the gap between veterans and civilians in this country. I think I fell into that category of a huge gulf. I never talked about my experience. I never claimed that I was a veteran, given the circumstances under which I was discharged. Never sought. I missed my VA benefits. I never filed for those. And I came to my organization, Intersections, and we invited a group of about 15 people together. Later found out we were all called civilians. Only the military uses that term for us. This Marine served in Vietnam, looked at all of us, and he said, "You all have something that I need for my healing." I think I ended up in tears. I'd never been asked to participate in the healing of a veteran. And he flipped it around and he said, "I think I have something you folks need for your healing also." And in that moment, for me, the Veteran-Civilian Dialogue was born. 2.5 years later, 30 dialogues. Or as somebody said earlier, we're building an airplane and flying it at the same time. We've garnered several thousand people have come. A lot of well-intended civilians come and say, I want to watch. We say no. We're asking civilians to step forward and agree to share the impact of war on you folks as well, to level the playing field between veterans and civilians. Veterans have said they don't want their stories paraded around, they don't want to be gawked at. What they want to know is, what was the impact on you, which perhaps is the finest way to honor some of their service. We've done 30 dialogues. As I said, several thousand people have come. The deal is that it's equal numbers of veterans and civilians. Our last dialogue just last Friday, 42 vets and the same number of civilians showed, who feed people, take good care of folks. Dedicated use of the arts in these evenings, veteran poetry, civilians who've written songs, etc., generously sprinkled throughout it. It's carefully orchestrated. We've taken, this is a program of community building and social healing. I've taken the mental health piece out of it, which is not an easy feat for a 25-year clinician to set aside the mental health dimension. I think sometimes we reify pathology of veterans by asking them to step into a pretty broken role in order to receive help. Recently, the program has got to the point where I'm a little starstruck. I was telling Kathleen earlier, I went to the Pentagon for the first time. The program, and I had lunch with the Deputy Undersecretary of Defense and sat there for an hour and got to talk about this. And he said the following: "I like that you're bringing the civilian element into this. There's too much fix a vet going on." We've also taken this into the virtual world. For the historic first time, for those of you who are digital natives, we've created the site in Second Life and hosted the first ever veteran-civilian dialogue in in the world of Second Life. I have an avatar. My cat has 9 lives. I'm a little more complex than my cat, but in Second Life, I was able to, with my partner, facilitate the live experience in this arena as well. We're not sure where it's going, but the New York Times has picked us up, Huffington, CBS, public radio. We're not sure where we're going, but I'd be glad, certainly after this conference, to sit at the feet of many of you folks. You were only names to me before today, so I'd be glad for your feedback and guidance as to what this program might become and how it might serve bringing both veterans and civilians together. Thank you very much.